Now at a very special new time from 7 to 9 on Thursdays. Raj and the Sexplosion. Good evening, Raj. How you doing?
Good evening. How are you, my friend?
I'm good.
This is our new time.
Yes.
Fresh on a Thursday. I see my good friend Chrisos just walked in. Christian, how are you, my friend?
Good, my dear friend.
Long time no see.
Nice to see you around.
So you come to take over. You come to leave. So a pleasant good evening to everyone. For those of you on Facebook, welcome. For those of you on the app who are listening to the program, welcome to Sexplosion on a Thursday night. And it's of a deviation from our regular programming, Wednesday night program. So what we're going to do tonight is take it into the realm of education. And of course, we know on a Friday night, we touch on the educational part and then we go into the entertaining part. The entertainment part of the program is a bit raunchy for those of you who have never listened to the program before. For those of you who are tuning to Sexplosion for the first time because of the new time, thank you very much. For those of you who are regular listeners, you know what the program is all about. This program has been on the air at Power 102 FM for 18 years, and we have done some modification over the years. We started off with 5 nights. We had an evening drive program. We had a regular Monday, Wednesday, Friday program, and then we cut it down to a Wednesday and Friday program, and now we have a Thursday and Friday program. So for those of you who have been texting me and asking me what's going on, is it a permanent change? Yes, it is. Definitely a permanent change. On Thursday nights, we're going to start at 7, finish at 9. And of course, on Friday, we start at 9 and finish at 12. What I'm going to touch upon tonight is this whole issue of your health and the reflection that it has on your sexual life. But let's reverse it to say that our sexual life and our libido, our sex drive, is actually our alarm system that was given to us by God. So when something is going wrong with our system, be it your heart, your liver, your kidney, your nervous system, your digestive system, you're going to lose your libido first. We don't need an erection. Now with a morning erection, it's an indication that you have healthy amount of hormones in your body. So a man who is waking up with his normal morning erection, he can tell himself he's healthy. Sexually, his libido is good. Of course, you got to lose your erection to urinate. So it's going to go down. Sometimes you wake up in the morning with not a very turgid erection. I mean, it's not hard as you're accustomed to it being. That's an indication that something is going wrong. That there is a drop in your hormones within your body. That something is changing. And if you pay attention to it, you'll realize that, hey, it is not only that. It is also, when I wake up in the morning, I don't want to get off the bed. I feel lethargic. I feel lazy. If I see something that used to turn me on, it no longer turns me on. I need additional stimulation to be stimulated. And I'm talking of visual, verbal, hearing something, all these different types of stimulation to be stimulated. So when those things start happening to you, you have to start checking on yourself. Another thing you have to look at is the possibility of excessive amount of alcohol, cigarette smoking, drugs, all kind of drugs, especially marijuana. I know marijuana is touted with many positive effects, but one of the negative effects it has is on your sex life because it is a hallucinogenic drug. It is something that depresses the system, and anything that depresses the system is going to cause you to get erectile dysfunction. So we know marijuana is a fantastic treatment for some ailments, for example, asthma and cancer. But for your libido, it is not. Don't think that you can smoke marijuana and have a good sex life. It's not going to match. So please remember that. That's why I'm an advocate for the legalization of marijuana, but I'm also an advocate for those gentlemen out there, or ladies who want to use or abuse marijuana. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Not because I am for the legalization of marijuana or the decriminalization of marijuana doesn't mean to say I will smoke it, because I know the dangers of it. The same thing with cigarette smoking. Then you have another segment of our society that indulges in various type of work, one of which will take away from night rest, meaning that you have to work night shift. If you are losing your night rest, if you are working night shift and because of whatever job you're doing, shift system, the armed forces, security, even working in industrial area, it's going to affect your sex life. Thirdly, we look at persons who are working in chemical environment, painters, welders, persons working in Point Lisas, Claxton Bay, Pointe-à-Pierre, Point 14. Once you are in a chemical environment, you are going to get contaminated. It's going to penetrate through your skin, it's going to go into your bloodstream, it's going to affect your testicles produce. Now the testicles, that's the job of the testicles. Two things it does, produce testosterone and sperm. So if you are in such an environment and you're also losing sleep, you're doubling the effect, the negative effect. If you're in such an environment and you're losing night rest and you're drinking alcohol, you're tripling. So think about all the negative things that you do. I'm not going to condemn anything. If you want to drink, drink. But in moderation, like everything else. If you want to smoke, be careful of what you smoke, how often that you smoke, and how you indulge. Because if you are a regular cigarette smoker and you want to wean yourself off a cigarette, you have to be very careful of a number of factors. Some persons will say, well, I no longer smoke in a pack a day, I'm smoking half pack a day. It's just as bad. Your body will absorb the amount of nicotine it's accustomed to absorbing from that half pack. If you're accustomed to smoking one whole cigarette in one go, and you only smoke half and say you throw away half, that does not do anything. You're still consuming, you're still absorbing the chemicals from that cigarette. And now cigarettes are made up of over 200 different chemicals. There's no tobacco in cigarette. Very little tobacco in cigarette. Long ago, cigarette had tobacco. Now cigarette is made up of chemicals. If you watch all the advertisements for cigarettes and you do your research and whatever, you'll realize that cigarette smoking is not a good thing. But if you want to indulge, by all means, that's your choice. We have the freedom of choice. We can do whatever we want to. We can do whatever we want to our bodies. But if you want to do whatever you want to your body, don't expect that it's going to respond in a positive way. Because the body is going to rebel against you. Your system is going to rebel against you. Your nervous system, your digestive system, circulatory system, the endocrine system, everything is going to rebel against you. You're going to wonder, why are you getting certain aches and pains? Why are you feeling in a certain way? These are the things that are going to happen to you, and you're going to wonder, well, why don't I feel to have sex? A lot of time, we find ourselves in this position. Now, another thing that causes a drop in your testosterone level and your drive, your libido, is aging. After you reach a certain age, you use 1% of your testosterone level per year. So if you have low levels to start off with, you're going to lose. You're going to end up in a problem where you're unable to function normally. Now, what is normal? The average young man will get erection in the morning, and they will get what you call spontaneous erection throughout the day. You may not pay attention to it, you may not be cognizant of it, but it may be at least 10 times for the day. You'll get some sort of stimulation. So, from morning to night, you'll have this constant stimulation and you'll feel good. You see a person that you're attracted to, you see some situation that warrants you to want to have intercourse, you're going to be aroused. So that's natural, but that's not normal. It's normal for that age. But as you age, you have to find out what's normal for you. And each person is different because the individual body changes, maturity changes, experiences have brought about a certain level of understanding, and the things that would have been alien to you at the beginning are no longer alien to you. The things that would have been traumatic or stimulating in a high way is no longer that way as you get older because of experience. So what do you do? As a normal human being, you have to pay attention to these factors. what are the factors that are going to affect me? How am I going to perform well as a man throughout my life? How am I going to perform well as a woman throughout my lifetime? Now, there's something called cycles. As we all know, women have what you call a periodic cycle, which is a cycle approximately every month, every 28 days. And there's also something called a sexual cycle. And understanding this thing called a sexual cycle is very important also, because a sexual cycle normally runs every 5 years. Your periodic cycle runs about every 24 to 38 days. A man also has a cycle, a monthly cycle, which we are not aware of, or we don't pay attention to, which normally runs on a cycle of about 33 days. And let me explain that cycle. It's not a period cycle, so don't go around saying Dr. Raj say man does have a period cycle. We have a libido cycle. And in that libido cycle, during those 33 days, you'll find that some of those days you have a very high drive. Now, it has to do with the moon. Everything with our human body and this planet Earth has to do with the moon. So you got to know how it affects you. There'll come a number of days that you feel that you have a drop in your libido. That's when the guys go around the savannah and they go to the guy with the flambeau to buy something in a glass to drink it down, or they're looking for something in a pack because they say it's good for the back, or they're looking to drink a black bottle because they say that will help them. But those are all fallacies. If you understand your cycle, you'll understand maybe for 5 to 7 days you'll have a drop. During those days, just stay off your regular activities, take your normal vitamins, do your workout, whatever you do, get enough sleep, and you'll come back into that cycle of a high libido. But a lot of times we don't do that. We continue with our normal life. We continue waking up late at night, being on social media, working, doing whatever we want to do. We continue with our jobs, and we're not paying attention to the usher. We don't want to wear our coveralls and our respirator and all those things. And we're wondering why we are having longer periods of a drop in our libido. It's because of what we're doing to our bodies. So we need to pay attention to those things, men and women. Women, on the other hand, are much different, because you'll find as a woman ages, her libido increases. And as a man ages, especially when he gets into his 30s, late 30s, early 40s, his libido drops. So there's normally a mismatch there. Normally the mismatch is that the man libido is dropping and the woman libido is increasing. So that is what you have to pay attention to, because you can find yourself in a lot of problems. Also, when a woman goes through menopause, it's like a there's a change in her body that brings about this whole feeling of not having this thing to worry about, of freedom from having this period, and also a freedom in knowing that I can have sex and can get pregnant. Because think about it, a lot of women are on the pill. Now, pill has side effects. A lot of women may use different things to control their cycles. Now, some persons might engage in the pull-out method, which I don't ever recommend, because when a man feeling sweet, it's difficult for him to pull out. Some persons may go by the cycle and try to figure out what days that they're ovulating and whatnot, and say, okay, I'm not having sex around this time. But those are not surety. It's not a surety that you wouldn't get pregnant. Also, of course, you can use the condom. But putting all those things aside, and let's get back to what is natural, which is natural sex. A woman's cycle has a normal rhythm. Unless she has a hormonal imbalance or something like that, then she'll have a problem. Or she has polycystic ovaries or something of that effect. She's going to have a problem with her cycles. So the guys now who are dropping in their libido, and the women who are increasing in the libido, and they are going through menopause, or they have gone through menopause, and there's this feeling of freedom, and I can have intercourse now, and I don't have to worry about getting pregnant and whatnot. They may not lubricate as they used to. There may be a thinning of the vaginal walls, They could get tear or rips very easily, so you have to be very careful. You have to make sure you're properly lubricated, but they don't have to worry about getting pregnant. The guys, on the other hand, it's the reversal, because that's the time that there's this freedom for the wife to, or girlfriend or whoever it is to have intercourse, but you can't get it up to have intercourse. Unfortunately for us men, you know, a woman could fake being aroused. A woman could fake intercourse. A guy can't. You cannot fake an erection. It's either you get it or you don't get it. And this is where the challenge comes in. If you're not getting the erection, it is an indication that something is wrong. But is it also an indication that there is something else going wrong within the body? So the guys who are exposing themselves to all the negative things are going to find themselves with some sort of ailment. You have lifestyle disease, diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol. You have problems related to your environment. Exposure to chemicals and whatnot could bring about breathing problems, thyroid problems, different problems. When these things start happening, the first thing that is going to drop is your libido. But we're always looking for shortcut as human beings. Anything that we're doing, we're looking for a shortcut because we want to find the fastest possible way to end this or to find a solution. But we don't pay attention to the length of time that it takes to get to that point of wanting help. A guy who is having sexual dysfunction or erectile dysfunction, or a woman who is having libido dysfunction or sexual dysfunction, did not get there today, from yesterday. They got there today from years past. It's not something that happened yesterday that is going to cause you to have a problem today. It's the same thing like having a heart attack. You don't get a heart attack today and it was caused by something you did yesterday. A lot of times we want to think that way, but it's not. You don't get a stroke because something happened yesterday. That's why I got a stroke. No. The stroke started a long time ago because of hypertension, built-up of plaque, or a lot of things that were going wrong within your system. So you have to pay attention to these things and understand that whatever problem you're facing today with your libido, your sex drive, your partner, it did not happen yesterday. It did not start yesterday. It started a while back. And you must be able to say, well, here what? Because this thing started a while back, I must be able to deal with it. But I must also understand that it's not going to go over overnight. It's not going to cure itself overnight. I need to, first of all, isolate the problem. I need to find out what is causing it. What is the root cause of this, and deal with it from that angle. So when we come back from the break, we'll start dealing with it from
there. Especially to serve our Islamic clients, Fab India Expo at the White Tent opposite Medford gas station. Shogunus is now back from June the 6th to the 16th. Opens daily 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. All new containers with the latest variety of furniture, handicraft, garments, footwear, jewelry, and many more around the world. We are the biggest in the Caribbean food court, a food court that no one can resist. Lots of giveaways, ample parking, and comfortable ambience. We are the biggest in the Caribbean. Something for everyone. Make your way to the Fab India Expo at the White Tent opposite Medford gas station, Shogunus, June the 6th to the 16th.
This is Power 102, empowering you.
Especially to serve our Islamic clients, Fab India Expo is back on June 6th until June 16th at the White Tent opposite Medford gas station, Shogunus. All new containers with the latest variety of furniture, handicrafts, garments, footwear, jewelry, and many more from around the world. The widest variety of Islamic wear, just in time for Ramadan and Eid. Make your way on down to Fab India Expo at the White Tent opposite Medford gas station, Shogunus from June 6th to June 16th, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Entry is absolutely free.
Munchkins ice cream, Munchkins ice cream. You'll want the tasty Munchkins ice cream. Munchkins good for one.
Delicious.
Better bite.
I want
It's
some.
best when we in a line with me and with you.
Come on.
Munchkins ice cream. Munchkins ice cream. So tasty, so creamy. Munchkins ice cream.
Munchkins. Gotta have it today.
Start your weekends with Sir Charles and Calypso Classics. Saturday mornings, 7 to 9 a.m. Calypso Classics. Enjoy classics from all the greats of Calypso: Sparrow, Stalin, Kitchener, Roger, Shadow, Calypso Rose, and many more Calypso classics with Sir Charles. All the Calypso greats, Saturday mornings, 7 to 9 a.m. and only on Power 102. The power of Calypso.
This is hard.
Are the problems and destructive anxieties of today tearing you apart? If there was ever a time to readjust your priorities and refocus your vision, it's now. Join Pastor Wayne Sampson on the Vision of Hope devotional program every Monday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. right here on Power 102 FM. Jesus is the only one who can give you peace in the midst of today's storm.
Power 102 invites you to Divine Inspiration, your guide to the way, the truth, and the light. Be inspired by powerful music, inspirational preachers, and transformational testimonials. Divine Inspiration, Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to midnight on Power 102 FM and streaming live via the Power 102 app. Tune in to Divine Inspiration and be transformed. You're listening to Power 102.
And this is Sexplosion at a brand new time, 7 to 9 with Dr. Raj.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we are.
So, when we are looking at our problems, the first thing we got to do is seek out help. And you've got to seek help from somebody who knows what they're doing. Most medical doctors don't deal with sexual dysfunction. They may prescribe a tablet for you to use because that's as much as they know. Because sexual dysfunction comes about based on a number of factors: health, strength, social, environmental, psychological, stress level, how you relate to your partner. So you have to take all these things into consideration when you're talking about the treatment of sexual dysfunction. So what will work for one individual may not work for another. Each person is unique, and you have to isolate each person and deal with it as a unique situation. So you can't do something carte blanche, just give a tablet and say, go use that, and it's going to solve your problem. Because let's say, for example, your problem is a physical one, meaning the mechanism to get an erection is no longer working properly. The valves that controls the inflow of blood to the outflow of blood are no longer functioning well because of diabetes. Obviously, you're going to have a problem with maintaining the erection because the flow in is the same flow out. So if you have the same flow in and the same flow out, you're not going to be erected. What happens is that when you get a flow in and a lesser flow out, that's how you maintain an erection. So if it is physical like that, you may need to not only use treatment, but you may also need to use a device. There are some men who are diabetic that they need to use a pump to get an erection. They need to use a penis ring to keep the erection because of the reasoning behind their erectile dysfunction. So you have to understand that. There are some individuals, they'll tell you, this may sound funny, but it's the truth. I cannot get an erection for my wife, but you see the outside thing, are hard like that. in reality, that will happen because it depends on your relationship at home. If you have a wife at home who's not understanding or who puts a lot of pressure on you for whatever reason, you're not going to react positively to that. Whereas when you meet in somebody for a short stint, and you know when you meet that person it is mainly for sex and enjoyment and relaxation, that's what you'll do. Because you don't have the pressures of what you face at home. Some women will tell you that they are not turned on by their husband anymore. That's because they have graduated or matured into a different person. And the husband may see the wife as the person that they got married to and did not realize that this is a more mature woman. This is a woman who needs different types of stimulation. She may need you to go down the fantasy road. She may need you to role play. And you're not doing that. So she's no longer attracted to you because you are not doing what is necessary for she to get that excitement or libido drive. How do you conquer those things? Some of it can be conquered by the way you communicate with your partner, the things that you tell one another, how you explain yourself, the integration of different things in your relationship, sometimes a toy, sometimes oral stimulation, digital stimulation. Another thing that we fall into a trap with is we tend to fall into routines. And those routines sometimes could be detrimental to us. We fall into the routine of having intercourse in the bedroom at a certain time, in a certain way, and that's it. Anything outside of that, it ain't happening. So sometimes you need to change the routine. Sometimes you need to say, well, here what? Let's do it in a different room. Let's find a different place, something that will be more stimulating. What we used to do long ago. Sometimes you need to re-stimulate the body. So that's another thing you have to look at, the factors that affect you in your present circumstance and the factors that are going to affect you later on.
Tell me something, Dr. Raj. Where the erection or the erectile dysfunction is concerned, is there anything that people can eat? I know people talk about organic foods.
Well, I'll tell you what you shouldn't eat. I'll tell you what you shouldn't eat. Junk food.
Mm-hmm.
High cholesterol food, oily foods, genetically modified foods, because it's going to affect, again, if you're eating foods that are genetically modified and the body cannot assimilate it the way it normally would, normal food, what's going to shut down first? Your libido. So it is your body telling you that you're putting something bad into the system. We tend to, there's a phenomenon in Trinidad, and I'm not pinpointing any one business, but I'm saying it across the board. It's very easy for a mother to purchase some sort of fast food that includes white chicken for their child to pacify them, to satisfy their hunger, and to make them feel good. Very easy, because we have it in abundance. Every corner you could find a shop, a parlor, an establishment, a conglomerate that sells something that includes that. But it's not a good practice. Foods of that nature are modified. Whether we like it or not, we must understand that the foods are modified. What we know as white chicken when we were growing up, or chicken, yard chicken, is different from what is being presented as food today. The hormones that are needed for these things to grow quickly are not the best hormones for the male. So when you are putting certain hormones in foods that are going to cause it to grow quickly, mature quickly, and the male consume it, you know why that disease came about? Mad cow disease came about because they were feeding a herbivore meat. You were feeding cows meat. How could you do that? And mad cow disease, when that came about, a lot of people in Trinidad stopped eating beef. I remember going to a place where I used to eat in St. James, and the gentleman used to make it a point to say that the beef he's selling is local beef, not imported beef. There's no mad cow in his beef. He made a point of saying that every time somebody will ask what's on the menu, if he had it up on the board, he will have it underneath, no mad cow. Made a point of that. But the fact remains that this meat was contaminated. It was coming from Europe. I think it was in England and other European countries. And people made a conscious decision. What I'm getting here, once people became aware, they stopped eating it. That's what I'm trying to get through here. If you are aware, you're going to stop eating it. You will not consume as much, or you will look for the healthy alternative. And what are the healthy alternatives? The one that you grow in your home, right? The ones that are organic, the ones that you could trust the farmer when you go by him, that he injecting these things for it to grow quickly. But again, for convenience, we don't do that. We don't do that anymore. So we find ourselves in a situation where the choices we make does not impact upon us today. It will impact upon us down the road. So, I tell clients and even persons who call the radio station and they tell me that they're using a particular product, or they got something from the pharmacy, or a friend sell them something and they're using it. I say, no problem, go ahead. You have choices, you can do that. You have freedom of expression and freedom to do whatever you want. But just note that whatever money you're spending on that today, multiply it 100 times to fix yourself later on. And that's a fact. It's not going to be cheap to fix your problem later on. So when you go to what I call the sidewalk pharmacies, the guys who have something that they tell you is the best thing since sliced bread. But if you try this, boy, oh God, you're up all night. You put it on work like that. So of course, a man, if he has to sell you something, will tout it to be the best. Isn't that what we do?
Does the blue pill fall into that category?
Yes, because it doesn't work for everyone. It does not. And do you know the history of the blue pill? Okay. In 1997, Pfizer made a pill that was supposed to treat people with heart problems. But like everything else, they have to give out a certain amount to people who are heart patients to use it, to try it out and see how it works. And they give another half placebos, which is sugar tablet. Not diabetic tablet, sugar tablet, made out of sugar. They call them placebos. And the guys who they give this heart tablet to will suddenly get an erection. Because of course, if you have a heart condition, you don't get erection. So they all started to report that to Pfizer, because they'll ask you what are the side effects that you're seeing of this product. And everyone started to report that they were getting, well, not everyone was getting erection, but they were getting stimulation down there. And if you remember this guy called Bob Dole, Senator Bob Dole, out of Hawaii, the Dole family, he was a senator and he was using it. And he started to tout it as the best thing since sliced bread. So the company decided, here what? We are selling this thing for heart problem again, We're selling it for erection. So it became the erection pill. But they still warn you that if you have heart condition, don't use it. Because you could end up 6 feet under. That's why a lot of people died from using it. So that's how it came about by mistake. It is not a wonder drug. I remember in the 1998, was it? Yeah, there was a World Cup that year, right? 1998. There were people who they were crawling over each other just to get that pill.
One time I went to a pharmacy and there were two young guys behind me, and they were discussing between that and Cialis.
Okay.
And I didn't look around.
The other two brands that they have on the market were designed for erectile dysfunction. That was not.
Oh.
Those two were designed for
they were
erectile
arguing
dysfunction.
over that.
But I'll tell you something. I don't know if you've noticed this, but you just use a word there that you're not even cognizant of it. two young guys.
Yeah.
Why do young men need to use something for erection?
Well, I realized they were young guys when the cashier finished with me and I turned around.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is this?
Correct. And you know many young guys in Trinidad and Tobago use a pill to get an erection?
What would cause young guys to
It's
be
a
in situation
phenomenon.
like that?
It is people thinking that I need to use something to go that extra mile apart from their normal ability.
Okay.
You will be amazed, and I have done this many times. I have a lot of friends who are in the pharmaceutical business, who in business generally, and they will tell me of the amount of young persons. Now, you remember when you were 18. I know for myself that if the breeze blow hard, I ready. Not these young men today. They're not. They are not, because they're burning the candles at both ends. They are so involved in social media. They don't have the ability to converse. They don't know what it is like to track a woman. They don't know those things. They really don't know it. And even the young ladies, they themselves, if they like you, they give you sex. They know nothing about holding it back and make you wait for it and play the little game and they have to take you out and tease you. It's too quick. We live in a fast world. Everything has to be done quickly. And they are looking at porn and thinking that porn is educational. It's not. Porn is entertainment. It's not education. So when you are watching porn and you think what you see in porn is reality, it's not. It's like watching one of those movies and you see a man flying with a hammer in his hand. That is not reality. That could never happen. But in some parallel universe, somebody will tell you that happening. And there are men who will sit down and argue with you and tell you that has happened. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Because in their mind, that becomes reality. It's the same thing with the sexual situation. So when they're going to put down a work, as we put it, or when they're going to have intercourse, they're looking for something to charge them up, to live up to what they see in porn.
Right.
But they must remember something. What you see in porn is not reality. If you see a man going the distance, he might be break about 3 times during that, but what they do is they edit. So you have no idea how much time he break. And when time for he to break, he can't break, so they call a fluffer. And the fluffer does do the breaking instead of the man. That's what porn is about. If you have ever been on a set, you'll see it. And then you'll realize what is reality. Even the actresses, they just tell the guy, I'm not going to get you hard. I'm not your girlfriend. You get a job, they're paying you for that. And they'll go in a corner and do what they have to do and come back and do what they have to do on the set. And that's reality. It is not what you see. The director and the editor will create what he wants you to see. But it's not what you're seeing. It's a funny thing, you know. It's a funny thing. I remember the first time I saw them making a movie. And I saw they shooting a scene that had nothing to do with what transpired before. So my friend who was working with the producer and the director, I said, what are you doing there? That had nothing to do with the movie. She said, yes, that has to do with the movie, but that comes down to the end. But they're shooting it now because they had the right weather and they had the people to do it. So they're shooting the end now to put it in down the road. And they can't, what they told, they can't film and they put that aside. So that's why a lot of times in movies, things don't match. If you pay attention to movies, a lot of things don't match. I saw a guy get into a car with wing mirrors, rear view mirrors, side mirrors. And the car he came out of had no side mirrors. Recently in a movie.
Right.
It does not match because of the time of the shooting. So it's the same thing with the porn. It will not match. So when you see these things and when you are involved in it, you realize what is reality and what is not reality. You realize for yourself what you need to do. So the guy who needs to go and take something to get that level of arousal, to perform, is already telling himself he cannot perform naturally. So that's his psychological part. How much time men will come by me for treatment. And after they've gone through everything and you tell them the procedure and whatnot, you know what they'll tell you? Well, you have nothing there that you could give me that have a nice piece of thing to put on this weekend, you know. So my answer to them is no. And I'll tell you why. If you understand the psychology of individuals, you know that if I trust you with something, if you hand me a CD and say, Raj, this CD is real good, this is the best music you'll ever listen to, I'll trust you because that's your forte. But if when I listen to it, it's a bunch of crap, first thing I'm going to say, I man ain't know not about music, boy. But it may be because of a distortion in the CD. I don't know that. But I am going to tell myself, you're no good. So if I give someone something to use and it doesn't work, first thing they're going to blame is Dr. Raj.
Exactly.
No one else. They're not going to blame themselves. They're going to blame Dr. Raj for their failure. And then they're going to lose faith in me. So I don't give you a shot.
How do you go around working with people who are in highly toxic environment like you spoke about earlier?
Well, we try to get them to be aware of the dust environment, the chemical environment, and those things, and to wear their protective gear, to also do what is necessary in terms of exercising outside of that environment so that you get some of the toxin out, detoxify the system, use certain things, certain types of food and whatnot. And to answer your question, there are foods that help you to maintain your testosterone level but not increase it. Almond nuts, avocado, watermelon, celery, asparagus, salmon fish, oysters, those things help you to maintain your testosterone level, not increase it. So a lot of time people feel that there are foods that I can eat that will increase my testosterone. No, it will not. It will help you to maintain it. And there's a difference between maintenance and fixing.
The guys who are diabetic and stuff
Uh-huh.
and have problems with the erectile dysfunction and thing, insulin help them?
Insulin will help them with their
As
diabetes, but not with erection. Insulin is going to kill your erection. Insulin is
So
good.
it puts them in a worse scenario?
Yeah. There's certain medication, for example, if you have high blood pressure, there's certain beta blockers. When you take them, you don't get an erection because it depresses the whole system and stops the circulation the way it's supposed to circulate and all that. So there are a lot of medication that will cause you, the side effect of it is no erection.
I thought that when these guys take their insulin and stuff.
No. Don't ever think that.
For a while.
Don't ever think that. It's not, does not, will not, cannot. You have to work around it. You have to work with it because you can't stop the person from taking their insulin, can you?
That's right.
So that's where the challenge lies. It's like a person, well, one of the things we do at the Adult Therapy Center in St. Augustine is we deal with persons who are trying to conceive. A lot of time, the man will put the blame on the woman. But many a times I've found that the man is at fault. He does not have the quality of sperm to impregnate his wife, the quantity of sperm to do it, and he just don't want to do anything about it because of the macho image. Because he tells himself, it is the woman's fault, I don't need to do anything. And I'm not going to do anything. She has to say about herself, I am not going to do anything. So you see where the problem lies. Sometimes it lies in the psychology of the individual. Sometimes it's a cultural thing. When our Prime Minister spoke about prostate examination, I mean, it came across in a bad way, but there are a lot of men who will not have a prostate examination done simply because they don't want anything penetrating their anus. Because
I was,
it's...
in a situation like that, but I told myself, David, man up and do this thing.
No, if you want the proper thing done, that's what you have to do. Otherwise, if you think that penetration of the anus makes you homosexual, then you have been conditioned that way by society to think that way. But it's not. It's absolutely not. A homosexual individual is one who has feelings for the same sex. And I'm talking about sexual feelings for the same sex. I'm sure you have a brother. I'm sure you have a cousin. I'm sure you have male relatives who you love. And you could tell them that you love them. But it's not love where I want to go to bed with you. Well, right. That doesn't make you gay. It doesn't make you a homosexual. It is when you start having those feelings in a deeper way for same sex, that is what happens to the individual. That is what defines them. So a medical examination that includes prostate examination, digital prostate examination, because you have a number of ways you can do it. You can do it through ultrasound, you can do it through blood, and you can also do it digitally. There is nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with that person who is doing it to you because he's trained to do that. He's not trying to rape you. And we must understand these things. So culturally we are conditioned based on our macho image or, whatever it is, to think that if we do anything that has to do with the anus or in a feminine way, it makes us gay. It does not. It absolutely does not.
How does prostate affect a man's sexual prowess, if I should say?
Well, that's the correct word, and that is the best question you could have asked. A man's G-spot is his prostate. A man's sexual gland is his prostate. If your prostate is not working properly, you're not going to function well sexually. That's why it feels good to have the prostate massage. Because there is something called prostate massage also. Yeah. There is something called prostate milking. There are all these different things that you can do with the prostate. But again, to find the prostate is through the anus, no other way. There's no other way to do it. You could go through the urethra, but that's if you doing a biopsy or you put in a catheter or something into the body. But the only way to reach the prostate is through the anus. That's why a lot of men, they will get a sweet feeling from that, and suddenly they don't want anybody touching them there because, again, the fear of being labeled a homosexual because you feel nice about it. So the prostate is when you remove it, you have tube done and those things, you have sexual problems, you're going to have serious sexual problems. If you have swollen prostate, just as it affects your ability to urinate, it's going to affect your ability to get an erection or have sex and enjoy it. So the prostate is your main sexual gland.
How do you compare the remedial or that way of checking your prostate? Digital or through the...
Digital is the best.
You think
it
so?
is the best.
Yeah.
It is the best. You can do it by blood, which gives an indication. It's not 100% accurate, but it gives an indication of if there is something wrong. And then you go to the digital. You could also do the ultrasound.
Yeah.
Some persons, they want to do that, but still, the doctor is trained to touch it and feel it and have an idea. The size of a prostate is the size of a walnut, Sometimes it could become very hard inside there. So how could you tell if it's hard or not unless you touch it?
That's right.
So
I quite agree.
Yeah.
I man up and I went and did it. I'm due for another one soon.
How long ago you did it?
Well, I for some reason or the other, I missed last year, but I did it the year before. I don't want to do it. I don't want to miss it this year.
No, every 2 years you should do it.
Oh, every 2 years?
Every 2 years.
Okay.
African male every year. But normally every 2 years. And the reason for that is that African male has a propensity for prostate cancer. And it's one of the things that you should have to check.
Right.
And there's, again, I urge all the men out there to have it done. Do the blood first. Do that first. And once you see an indication that something's wrong, it's borderline, or it's a little on the high side, or it's above what it's supposed to be, do the digital. And take whatever precaution you need to take. Right. What your pumpkin seed is good for that, your saw palmetto is good for that. Those are the things that you should be consuming to help you along the way. Right. A person should not need to hear somebody tell them, boy, pumpkin seed, you should be chewing some pumpkin seed ever so often. You should be chewing almond nuts. I mean, it's expensive, but it's good for you as opposed to medication.
Right.
Same thing with the Sao Palmetto. Use it. It's there. Especially if you're eating a lot of salty and food that is high in fat, like pork, for example. You have to make sure you check on that. Because you do not want to find yourself in a situation where when you do discover that something is wrong, it's too late. You want to prevent something worse happening. So yes. Yeah. Let's take a break.
Especially to serve our Islamic clients, Fab India Expo is back on June 6th until June 16th at the White Tent opposite Medford gas station, Shogunans. All new containers with the latest variety of furniture, handicrafts, garments, footwear, jewelry and many more from around the world. The widest variety of Islamic wear just in time for Ramadan and Eid. Make your way on down to Fab India Expo at the White Tent opposite Medford gas station, Shogunans from June 6th to June 16th, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Entry is absolutely free.
Power 102 presents Love Stories.
Love Stories.
Experience the power of love.
Love Stories. The music, the magic, the stories of love.
Sundays 2 to 7 p.m. with your calls, messages through the Power 102 app and dedications. Love Stories.
And I'll tell you now that I made a vow. I'm giving you the best that I've got, baby.
Love Stories.
Love Stories on Power 102 FM.
Come, experience the power of love.
ML Ballpark presents the Ballpark World Cup. Ballpark becomes Russia, the biggest seven-a-side World Cup competition to hit the Caribbean. 4 divisions, under 12, under 21, open and over 35. If you are wondering who you are representing, things got sweeter. June 8th at the park is draft day, when your team plays at the World Cup. You play at the park. Which country will you represent? $300 per player. Replica kit included. 10 players minimum per team. For more information about registration or the competition, call 201-BALL, 305-9175 or 728-5511. Ballpark becomes Russia. Go follow at Ballpark TT on Facebook and Instagram.
Thank you, Dad, for always being there when I needed you.
This Father's Day on Power 102, we're thanking all fathers for the invaluable lessons they've taught us all.
Thanks, Dad, for all those useful life lessons. Parallel parking was such a tough one.
Call and thank your dad for the things he taught you during our Thank to Dad segments. Weekdays between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. starting Thursday, June 7th. And you can win vouchers from our sponsors and the chance at the grand prize for Dad of a 3-night stay for 2 at the Green Palm Boutique Hotel in beautiful Tobago.
Thank you, Dad, for showing me how to stand up for myself and what I believe in.
We're sending big thanks out to all dads this Father's Day on Power 102. Sponsored by Green Palm Boutique Hotel, Ramesh and Leela Supermarket, and Ashley's Bed and Bath. Happy Father's Day from Power 102. Empowering you. You're listening to Power 102.
It's a Sexplosion with Dr. Raj. Like I said, at the brand new timing, 7 to 9 on a Thursday. Dr. Raj.
I have to say a special good night to some of the folks who have joined us on Facebook. Shireen, Sam Narayan, Sam Gerard, better known as Checky, the doctor is in the house. Natalie Ramdeen Thomas, Kiki Passad over in New York. Anne Madhu over in Canada, my cousin. Gary Mongro, Kiki Passad, Jennifer Ashby Okoli. And family is not with us tonight. It's David McIntyre with us tonight. So, Syra Budu, Indira, Ernie, Nirmala, Ria, good night to you all. And thanks for joining us on the program. There's lots to talk about, lots to discuss. For those of you who have your questions, please feel free to send it to me via WhatsApp 7401961, via messenger service. You can send it also directly to us in the studio. For those of you who are watching the program on the app, it's very easy. Just all you need to do is send your message directly to the studio using the app. For those of you on www.power102fm, you can do the same thing. I see my cousin is on. Kumar, how are you? So, we need to find a solution. We need to find a way to maintain our general health and our sexual health. We need to find a balance. And it's not very difficult. It's not very expensive. All it takes is for you to understand yourself, the things that affect you both positively and negatively, what it is you need to adjust in your life, how you go about doing those adjustments, and you can make things much better for yourself. But if you don't pay attention to your own life, if you're not aware of what will negatively impact you, for example, I've heard, as you age, well, not I've heard, I could attest to this. A young man between 18 and 30, you feel like you conquer the world.
Yes.
When you cross 30, you start to feel different about yourself. You reach 35, you start to get aches and pains that you never got before. You reach 40 and suddenly you reach a magical number and it's like, oh my God, this is really happening, boy. How come I get a pain in this area? How come my hands hurt me like this? And you can't understand why. Your stamina level drops. Things just change in your body. It's aging. It's aging. And there are magical numbers that you reach, that suddenly when you reach those age, boom, things start to happen. And then you get down into your more mature age, 40 plus, 50 plus, 60 plus. But if you never were aware of yourself before, if you don't know or pay attention to how you would have reacted to certain situations, you really wouldn't be cognizant of what is changing in your life. You would not pay attention to that. So suddenly, you are having aches and pains, and you say, boy, I old age, and we get arthritis, and we like to call down things on ourselves. Right? We love to call down things on ourselves. I don't know why. Christiana, how are you, my darling? But when you call things down on yourself, you're doing yourself an injustice. You must have a positive attitude. A lot of times we're very pessimistic about things. And that also brings about a negative reaction from our mind and our body. Because if in your brain you're telling yourself that you're unable to function, look at you would not be able to function. You would not be able to do the things that you normally would do. Because mentally it's like an athlete, If he's going to run 100 meters and he tells himself, well, I can't dip under 10 seconds, you think he's going to come in the first 5? Exactly. He's not. Because he lost before he started. I always refer to the greatest bodybuilder in my book, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not because he had the best body, but because he had the best brain in bodybuilding. He used to beat his opponent before he won the stage with his mouth. It's like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is fighting you in the ring, It's before you go in that ring, the thing he tell you. He frustrates the hell out of you. He tells you things that you're angry when you're in the ring and he's relaxed. That's the psychology of sport and the psychology of the human mind. And if you are able to understand that, you'll also understand where your shortcomings are. Because sometimes we tell ourselves negative things, so we fail before we start. We fail before we start. We give it a go and we fail. Why? Because we tell ourselves we are going to fail. We tell ourselves we are going to fail. For those of us who have done any type of sports that requires concentration and requires you to take aim at something. Like if you're doing archery and you tell yourself, I ain't going to hit the bullseye. You know. You're hitting that bullseye for nothing. You know.
That's true.
You're not going to hit that bullseye for anything. You have to tell yourself that bullseye is one with me. I am going to hit it. I am going to hit the middle of that bullseye, and no matter what, you may miss, but you have the positive attitude. You have the right attitude to do it. And when you focus like that, when you are able to streamline your thoughts on yourself, that's the first step. You can't tell yourself, boy, you're going on a diet, but you see me, I ain't going to lose no weight. Huh? I'm not going to lose the weight. Because you don't have the right attitude. Or you wake up in the morning and you have to go and do something in the gym. And you say, boy, I'm so tired, I don't want to go in the gym. You already fail. You have caused yourself to fail because you're telling yourself, I cannot do it before you start. So you understand what this positive attitude is all about. So it's the same thing with your health and your sexual well-being. Now, if we think about sex, the wonders of it, the beauty of it, what it does to the psyche, what it does to our well-being, the release of all these hormones, the release of all these chemicals in our brain, the sweetness that we feel from it. When we think about that and we understand that, we'll understand the beauty of sex. And why would we not want to maintain ourselves in a manner that we could enjoy throughout our lives? Because there's no cutoff period, you know. Unless by choice, eh? Okay. Let's say you reach the age of 65 and you tell yourself you've had enough. You don't need to play the field anymore. You don't need to do the things you used to do before. That's your choice.
Does regular sex help with the prostate?
Yes, because you're releasing. It's like a massage. Well, not a direct massage of the prostate, but it does. Because you're releasing. There are certain... There's a gland just above the prostate called the Cowper gland. And that releases a fluid that is mixed in with the semen. So you need to release those things ever so often. And sometimes it's good to have intercourse and not release. But of course some guys will get what you call blue balls, which is a literal thing. Yeah. Or they get headache. Or a combination of both. So you have to be very careful about it. So yes, there are a number of things that you can do to make yourself a better lover, to live better, to perform better. But again, man, know thyself and be aware. So we should open up the lines and have, if we have anyone who wants to call,
222-8255 and 612-8255. You can get in on the conversation. Sexplosion, now at a brand new time from 7 to 9 on a Thursday.
And we do have some persons who have joined us on WhatsApp and different places and sending little. For all of you who are listening to the program, I've sent you a positive response. Thank you very much. I know we have some things coming on Facebook Live. Let's see if I can pull that up, David. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to pull up. Let's see. Marie Ram Singh, Indra Maharaj, Stephanie Crony, hi. Christiana, she's in Switzerland. Steve Narayan, Amina Mohammed, good night. Dr. Raj, Alexia Bach, hi, good night. Ria. So, well, I guess most of them are just saying hi.
Yeah.
But education is important. I think we have some call on the line.
We have a call. Hi and good evening. Hey, how are you going?
Dr. Raj.
Yes, good evening.
Okay. So here you talk about the food, like the chicken, the other foods that what the chemical. So we're talking about the food that we eat every day. I heard you talk about diabetes. What about the medication that you take as type 2 diabetes? But type 2 diabetes, does it have a side effect?
We were just talking about that also.
But type 2, because you talk about insulin. And insulin is a type 1, for type 1.
But I said that sometimes the medication that you're using for certain ailments would have negative side effects and it will affect your sex life. I did say that. I did not specify which medication or what type of because sometimes you have type 2 diabetes, but you also have high blood pressure with it. Sometimes you may have high cholesterol. So you have to take into consideration the combination of whatever you're using. You know, some medication for diabetes cause you to have stomach ailment, digestive problems. And I did say at the very beginning that anything that affects your digestive system, your circulatory system, your nervous system is going to affect your sexual.
Well, Dr. Raj, the amount of things I hear you talk about old age, a man like me who is 64 years old and type 2 diabetes, I have to rap all I could get because you know like because at 64 I have type 2 diabetes. I'm still doing everything, but you making me scared, or you make me feel that I have to rap all I could rap because just now I go through, you know.
That was not my intention.
Well, but that's what comes through to me, you know. So,
well, if education takes you down that road, what can I say?
You can pay him up. No, farmer, you can probably...
What you have to look at is your ability to perform when you need to perform. That's what you have to look at. And you will know what is reality and what is not, you know. Because sometimes a person wants to create an impression one way, but they know what reality is.
Well, Dr. Raj, in my mind, I have a rude mind, but as far as I can see, with food and diabetes, I think my mind will be there, but my body will go through.
The mind strong. The mind strong, but the body weak. Sometimes it is that way, you know, the mind strong and the body weak, or sometimes the body strong and the mind weak.
I like chicken, a little overweight, and 64 years.
No, well, you have plenty hope because we have a program to help you.
That's right. All right. That's a cool.
No, but that is the importance of this program. Here we have a program that's been running for 18 years. We have changed the time a bit, so we're reaching a different audience. And there would be persons out there who have never heard this program before.
Yeah.
And I may sound repetitive at times because I've said these things for the last 18 years. It's not today. I may have said it and taken one aspect of it and made an entire program. Or I may have said it in a nutshell by compressing it into a program.
Yeah, we have another caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Raj. How are you doing?
Good evening. How are you?
I give quiet, man.
What's up?
Latmania.
Hey, Latman, what's up?
Well, I give quiet, man. I just trying to be all right, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because you see what you're saying about the pumpkin seed and watermelon and what have you is great.
Uh-huh.
That is what you hear having me looking as I supposed to be.
Right.
The pumpkin, well, a matter of fact, I don't patch the pumpkin again, you know.
Eat it raw.
As soon as I cut the pumpkin, I wash out the seed,
Uh-huh.
and I rinse a few in a bowl, and I have that.
Right.
Watermelon, same thing. The seed.
Well, I'll tell you something. When I eat a watermelon, I chew the seed one time. One time.
Everything.
One time.
Yeah.
I don't put the seed to dry and I chew it one time. I don't spit out watermelon seed.
You know,
I don't.
You know,
It's difficult for some people to do that.
You know, that a lot of people try to understand and ask me, what is my way of living and how I live? I said, I'll tell you something. My way of life cannot be yours. My eating habit is something else. Right? I don't eat much flour and rice and this and that, you know.
Uh-huh.
More fruit, like watermelon, a lot of mango, you know, in between cucumber, you know, here and there. And
Cucumber is very good.
And that, you know. I just trying to have the body looking well.
Yes, but cucumber is very good.
Yeah.
And eat it raw, just wash the skin and eat it.
Exactly. You know what I do? I usually take it, pasteurize it, and put it and drink that.
Uh-huh.
Think about that.
Very good.
Huh?
Very good.
Watercress. I take that, I juice it, and drink that water too.
Well, sometimes you find with juicing, you lose some of the nutrients also. So what we should do is sometimes chew it up. Watercress is easy. Some people find it bitter, but chew it up. I remember my father would never sit down to a Sunday meal without watercress on the table.
Exactly.
And we started by the big bunch, not the small one.
Yeah, that was a permanent.
Yeah, always, every Sunday that must be on the table. And I grew to love that.
Tell me something, please.
Uh-huh.
You know, I had 38 acres of land in Plum Road.
No, well, I wouldn't know that. All know that.
No, I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
My father had 38 acres of land in Plum Road.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when he passed away and thing, you know,
what part of Plum Road?
You know?
What part of Plum Road?
Above the lighthouse.
Okay.
Right? And I just I find it was too out of the way for me and thing, you know.
Yeah, but that's a rough drive.
Yeah, so well then after I get that now, I'm done with that. You know, I end up with a piece of land in Granville.
Granville?
Yeah.
From one end to the other way?
Huh?
From one end to the other?
Yeah. No, a matter of fact, you know, every year I keep a prayer for my father.
Well, you're supposed to do that, Petra.
Saturday, I'll be having a prayer for my father. Right?
Uh-huh.
And I always pray every day that I wish and I God bless my father to have me today. And I still carry on. Right? My children and them, they're doing well and everything.
Well, in our belief system, Pitra Puja is very important.
Exactly.
Okay, so that is something that is a must.
Hey, as you talk that, you know, as you talk that, you hear my head raised. Huh? Trust me.
Okay, that's one. The reason why I laughed like that, I was wondering if you were going to say something else, Ray.
No. I see you hear and my head raised. And I decide, well, a matter of fact, tomorrow is going for some pumpkin and what have you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Guy for Saturday.
Right. Well, I think you'll get shut. I don't think no. But anyway, let me not talk about press. Let me get back to sex.
Hey, sex. You see sex, man? Sex is something which you hear. I'm not saying I for neither again, but I could still be. I believe I could still function.
Well, that's the first step. That is the first step. Did I say that? The first step is the mind. And after the mind, you go into the physical.
the mind.
Yes,
Mind.
man.
Yeah,
You know what man means?
yeah.
Well,
mind.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks,
So
Latran.
this is what I'm saying, that a matter of fact, I live in you with this one. A matter of fact, somebody met me at the bank, and the person, individual, tell me they would like to be with me. They're about 25.
What?
Well, sugar daddy, right?
Ask him his age.
What's your age, Mr. Lachman?
I'm 87.
You good, daddy.
I know. Now, mind you,
Yeah.
I use, as I was saying, I use a lot of goat milk and beetroot, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of that.
Very good. Anyway, Latran,
Right.
we have to go.
So this tell you that, you know, life didn't end yesterday or last year or, you know, I just have them little children and them walking on top of me, take the coconut all around my skin and walk on top of me. That is one of the greatest massage you could get.
Yeah, somebody walking on you. That's true.
Yeah.
Using the palm of your feet.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hey, you know, I believe that I believe that I could live for 150 years now.
Great.
Yeah. Anyway.
You gotta go.
Take care.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Raj. How do I explain to my partner that his penis is not small and he needs to be gentle and slow in attempting anal sex? First thing you got to do is communicate. Put him, when you are in a sexual situation, let him know that the penis that he has is satisfactory and there are techniques for anal intercourse or any other type of intercourse. There are techniques, and and you have to perform those techniques before you look to enter. You can't be rough, and especially with the anal passage, because the muscle react in a specific way. So you have to be careful. You got to take your time. And of course, lubrication is very important.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you, doctor?
I'm fine.
Well, I listen to you, you know, I'm the Hindu saying that none what about meaning a guy the mind is the thing it is.
The thing it is.
That's the fun that you have to work. So you learn to play harmonian and Indian thing. That's about it, none what about meaning a guy. You say, boy, you know, the mind is the thing it is. So I listen to you, but you are a great man, you no longer following it. Before last time, I know other, but you know, one day at a time to use that.
Well, okay, well, thank you.
And I see I'm junior talent. You know, but that is not the experience man with that Superman with Joe Louis and Patrick Manning. And you like music, you know.
I know that.
Moti and everybody. So he's a partner.
Yeah, Moti, I know who it is.
One for you, we love you. God bless you.
Take care.
Yeah. Dr. Raj, tell me something. Is there a difference, or can you identify or define a comparison with aphrodisiacs and like the pumpkin seed and
the pumpkin seed and those things are not aphrodisiacs.
That's why I asked you that.
Right. Those are helpful ingredients for the proper functioning of your sex life. There's a difference.
Good.
An aphrodisiac is supposed to be a stimulant to cause your libido to rise. There's a difference. So what we thought as aphrodisiac, sometimes it may not be an aphrodisiac. For example, zinc, which you get from oysters. It is not an aphrodisiac. You can't eat oysters today and it's going to act up in an hour's time. Yeah. It has to digest, it has to go through the system, and it may kick in a day or two down the line. But when you take something like a pill, that's an instant addition to your libido, it acts as an aphrodisiac.
Does chocolate fall into that category?
Chocolate does not fall into any of those categories. What chocolate does is chocolate helps, causes your brain to release the same chemicals that sex releases. That's why chocolate is such a wonderful thing. When God made cocoa, I think it was the best thing he ever do. Honestly. When God made cocoa, he knew what he was doing. Because that has so many positive properties to the human body It's unbelievable.
What you would describe as the most potent to assist you with your sex drive and stuff?
Depends on the individual, depends on the age of the individual, depends on if the person has any medical condition. A normal person, something that will be potent is something that is derived naturally, not artificially, not created in a lab, not a drug, not a tablet. Something that is derived naturally. For someone who have an ailment, who have a medical problem, you need something that is made in a lab. So you see the difference? Sometimes a simple thing as same goat milk you was talking about, with chana soak in it, there's be a potent libido booster. You soak it in milk overnight and you eat it the next day. It's a snack. It also helps you to maintain your testosterone, but it also increases your libido, your drive.
Right.
So simple things could affect you in a positive way. The same thing with cocoa. There is a preparation of cocoa that I had, I think it was in Mexico. You know that's where cocoa came from. That when you drink that, mister, you get this heightened sense of arousal. That it was unbelievable. It's like how we make cocoa tea, you know. The homemade cocoa has a lot of spices and things added to it.
I was just about to ask you that. You're talking processed cocoa.
No, not God. You're talking processed cocoa. Processed cocoa is...
Some people might feel so.
No. I get into that. I get into that. Yeah. You see, if you go buy cereal up in Lopino, my good friend, and you buy some of his cocoa, and you grate that, and you boil that, man, you ain't want nothing better than that. That is cocoa. That is pure cocoa mixed with the tonka bean and the bay leaf and this and that, the 5 ingredients, ground. That is cocoa that he danced on. That is cocoa from his estate.
Right.
That is cocoa that he dried. That is cocoa that he processed and patched and do everything else. And when you get that final product, there is nothing as delicious as that. But also not only delicious and satisfying, but also give you that heightened sense of libido. Cocoa is very potent.
Does the same thing happen in physical reactions when you use this kind of stuff with men and with women? Do you get the same result?
The chemistry of a man is different from the chemistry of a woman. So a woman will react different. A woman will react faster to wine and champagne as opposed to cocoa tea with a man. Sounds funny, eh?
Yeah.
It sounds funny, but it's true. It doesn't mean to say the chocolate wouldn't have the effect on her brain, the dopamine and the serotonin and those things. But what will work quickly on a woman will not work quickly on a man, and vice versa.
Right.
So you have to be careful. Sometimes we choose the wrong things. There are certain teas that also does that. Heighten your libido, heighten your drive.
Green tea.
Well, we just say green tea to blanket all teas, but it's not green tea. Not green tea, but there are certain types of tea. There's some very expensive tea and some teas that are almost to the point of being an aphrodisiac. If prepared properly, the oolong and those things, the mixture, the blend, it could do that. And it takes a master blender to get that going. Just as it takes a master chocolatier to refine that cocoa and bring it down to this perfectly smooth thing that we call dark chocolate and milk chocolate and whatnot. That is delicious to the taste. But the quantity of cocoa diminishes as it go down the line. Whereas when you go buy cereal and you buy your cocoa ball and you grate that, like pure cocoa, you grate in there, mister. It is not like it mixed with any, except the ingredients that it's supposed to be mixed with.
Right.
And that's it.
And they're all natural.
All natural. Everything is natural. I have to remember to ask him the 5 ingredients, you know.
I tell you, because I know a lot of people, they depend on so much things where that is concerned. Sometimes they probably take too much, if you ask me, because it might not be.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
That is what you have said there is very, very important. Let's take alcohol, for example. Excuse me. There are some guys who will tell you they can't last long unless they take a drink. So they will take a drink of, let's say, hard liquor, and they will last long tonight. For the rest of the year, one drink. But next year they might have to take a drink and a half or 2 drinks. You got to know your limitation, and you got to know what will stimulate you. A woman drinking a glass of wine, a glass is only 4 ounces, of red wine, may feel different from if she drinking 4 ounces of white wine and 4 ounces of sparkling wine. What it does to the palate, what it does to the system, the chemistry of the individual reacts to the chemistry of the food. Food have chemistry, you know. Food have energy in it, you know. All foods, you know. Good energy and bad energy, you know. Right. This is what we have to... Why do we eat food? Have you ever stopped to think, why do we eat food? As a Sanatanist, as a Hindu, we have learned that through the ages, the 4 ages that have gone through, there comes a time in one of the age where you don't need to eat food, you know, you get energy from the sun. And human beings could extract energy from the sun. And there are saints and sages right now in India who will go for years without food or water. And you ask them how come. And you wonder how come. But when they're in that trance, they get energy from the sun. They get energy from the atmosphere. And I'm not talking about simidimi stories. I'm talking about scientific facts. Right. Scientific facts. It's not something that is made up or something that you're trying to make something other than what it is. So if we can extract energy from the sun, that is what happens in a plant growing in a pot. Yeah. Doesn't take away the dirt. The dirt does lessen. You ever see the dirt lessen it? No. It's true. It takes the energy from the sun, photosynthesis, and creates that energy within the plant and creates a fruit. Have you ever planted a plant in a pot, and while the plant getting big, you see the earth getting less? It doesn't happen. It is add to the earth. Yes. It is add to the earth. It is add leaf. It is add other things. It adds. It doesn't take away. So true. That is how you have to think. You have to think in that logical manner. So the foods that we eat, when we pick a tomatoes and we eat a tomato, you get energy from that tomato. You pick a baigan and you go and roast it and you make a baigan choker or whatever. Or eggplant parmesan, if you want to use the word baigan, because some people don't like to use the word. Right? Yeah. You eat that, you get the energy from that food. Same thing with an animal. You get the energy from that food. But you could get a lot of negative energy too. If that animal had to suffer, to die, there's negative energy within the animal. Yes, it's true. There is negative energy within the animal. That's why when you slaughter an animal, it's supposed to be quickly, not beat it to suffer. You don't do those things. No matter what you're doing, you have to understand the energies that are transferred from one to the other. Yeah. So it's the same thing. The energy that you get from your drink or your beverage or your aphrodisiac, you may need to use 2 drops, and I may need to use 4 drops. How do you know? By experimenting and by trying. So that's why when a man gives you a blue pill and he tell you, break out a little piece might work for him, but you might need the whole one. Energy. Yeah. Why are some medication given in dosage? Well, all medication are given in dosage. Yeah. But how come your dosage will be different from my dosage? Energy that you get from it, what it's supposed to do. So it's the same thing with the food and the drinks and the beverages and all these things. If you're drinking a lot of negative energy drink, now there are things that are touted to be energy drink and it's not, you know. The energy that I'm talking about is not the energy to run from here to Maracas and run back down in half an hour, you know. Not that kind of mad energy, you know. I'm talking about the chemical energy that causes you as a human being to be a better person. That's the energy I'm talking about. So when guys telling me about taking medication or taking treatment for erectile dysfunction and they're using energy drinks to drink, you are doing yourself a disservice. That's why, you know, the number one question that is asked by me by clients, I could drink with this? They only want to know whether I could drink with the tablet or not. I say you could drink any amount you want to drink, but the tablet is not going to work. That's right. It's not going to work for you. So do you want to waste your money on treatment? Do you want to do that? Waste your money on treatment and go and drink too and spend money on that? Then you better take all your money and throw it down a drain.
Exactly. Guys who want to be a sugar daddies, you know, guys who are past 60. Fam, I talking to you, man. But guys who are above that age group and attracted to young people and stuff. What kind of, is that healthy for that person of that age, be it woman or man, you know?
You know, I want to show you something. And I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but this is a fact. A man in his youth, teenage years, he's attracted to an older woman. This is the older woman here.
Yeah.
This is the young man here.
Yeah.
As he ages, look what happens. As he ages, he's looking for someone closer to his age. And then he reaches a time in his life when he'll be attracted to persons exactly his age. But after that, what happens? Turn. As you get older, to increase your libido, to spark up your sex life, you're looking for somebody younger. An older gentleman once told me, he said, what is the secret to living long and having a good sex life? He said, as you get older, the person must be half your age. And he was very serious about it. So I asked him, at what age does that apply? He said, from 40 onwards. And he said, when you reach 60, you don't want to go to 35 or 30. You're heading back down. And he was very serious. But this is a man who is 70-something years of age. Of course, you know, with age brings reason. And there are also laws. So you have to be careful what you're saying and what you're doing. I'm not advocating that you do that. But if you understand the psychology of human behavior, you'll understand that change. The same thing with the older woman wanting a younger man. The older woman is attracted to the younger man. And as this happens, so the sugar daddy complex come in. Where does the sugar daddy complex come in? The more mature man is not after sex all the time as the younger man is. He has more money. He might be more stable in life. And that's what she's looking for.
Exactly.
That's the sugar daddy complex. She wants you to spend money on her and she don't have to give away this thing every day.
I like how you put that.
But it's true. It's straightforward.
Yes.
So that's where the sugar daddy complex. And he himself, he know he can't put on work every day. So he glad. He's glad to put out the money and put out whatever just to have she on she arm, feel good, look macho, get the little stimulation going, have the circulation going, have the heart pumping. And the man feel, what is wrong with feeling good about yourself? Nothing. Only you could make you happy, you know. You know that.
I know.
Don't depend on your wife, your child, your children, your dog or your cat to make you happy, you know. Only you could make you happy. And you have to find the things that will make you happy. Whatever it may be. Just know that in finding those things, you're not going to be breaking the law. You're not going to cause harm to another individual. You should not want to do something that is going to be detrimental to the health, happiness, or life of another person. And that's what you have to do. Continue your life along those lines. Understand who you are. Know your limitations and know what it takes for you to reach certain levels. And work towards that all the time.
Let's take a short break.
Yes, please.
Especially to serve our Islamic clients, Farm India Expo is back on June 6th until June 16th at the White Tent opposite Medford gas station, Shogunans. All new containers with the latest variety of furniture, handicrafts, garments, footwear, jewelry and many more from around the world. The widest variety of Islamic wear just in time for Ramadan and Eid. Make your way on down to Farm India Expo at the White Tent opposite Medford gas station, Shogunans from June 6th to June 16th, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Entry is absolutely free.
Magnum Explosion presents Inferno.
Saturday, June 9th at the Jane Pier Complex. Walk with the tape and leave him a shed. Walk with the queen and leave the machine. Bite and leave me say. Every day I love just a little bit more. Little bit more. Little bit more. My resistance is getting weaker. I can't stand the pressure. The Mellow Canary. He doesn't want me around.
Signal, Cable Time, and Sizzler Kalanji with their full band.
Showtime, 9 p.m.
Land to general admission tickets $275 and VIP $450.
Tickets available at Cinnabon, Trent City, Price Plaza, Gulf City, and Westmore. The Avenue Pub House, Videotronics, Fair Park, Ireland e-tickets, and all LCD outlet goods.
For more info, call 684-SHOW. That's 684-7469.
Sponsored by
Magnum Tonic Wine,
Campari,
Signpost,
Stag,
Johnny Walker,
Blue Water,
Gatorade,
Pepsi,
Real Top Builders,
Hennessy,
Campbell Express,
and a Johnny Q Sound Company Limited.
J&J Big Yard Guest House is the ideal location for your weekend getaway. Located along the luscious green forested northeast coastline, J&J Big Yard Guest House is a great getaway for a peaceful, safe, and enjoyable time. The guest house is suited for the entire family since each apartment has 2 to 3 rooms and are fully air-conditioned. You can choose from semi-contained to fully contained rooms. For your comfort, there's a 5.5-feet pool with a large deck for your entertainment. Or you can visit the Toko Main Beach, located 10 minutes drive from the guest house, where you can soak in the sun and sea. Give us a call today at 751-4503 or 373-8441 or visit us online at www.jnjbigyard.com. J&J Big Yard Guest House, where relaxation is good for the soul.
Mondays on Power 102 FM, The Business Corner. 60 minutes of news, analysis, and discussion about money, entrepreneurship, and work. And for those with ideas for a startup, solid tips and advice about the way forward and building the brand. From companies to currencies, investments to the role of information technology. The Business Corner with communications and business consultant Sandrine Rattan. Mondays at 2 p.m. on Power 102, empowering you. In association with the Kariri Business Hatchery.
Lester Sudlow, inviting you to join me every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the program Slow Gospel Music, a program designed to soothe your mind and uplift your spirit here on Power 102.1 FM, Power 102.1 FM.
Ballpark presents the Ballpark World Cup. Ballpark becomes Russia, the biggest seven-a-side World Cup competition to hit the Caribbean. 4 divisions, under 12, under 21, open and over 35. If you are wondering who you are representing, things got sweeter. June 8th at the park is draft day, when your team plays at the World Cup. You play at the park. Which country will you represent? $300 per player. Replica kit included. 10 players minimum per team. For more information about registration or the competition, call 201-BALL, 305-9175 or 728-5511. Ballpark becomes Russia. Go follow at Ballpark TT on Facebook and Instagram.
This is Power 102, empowering you.
And this is Sexplosion. Dr. Raj.
Pleasant good evening to Josanna Ramkisoon, Marie Ramsingh, Rhonda Ramjatan, Savi, Sunita Sananan, Rhonda Ramjatan, Lorna Balda, Kamina Ramdas. Margaret Bungal says, good evening, Dr. Raj. You have me here laughing out loud. Because at 70, I myself want a sugar daddy. What sayest thou? My happiness depends on me, and that will make me very happy. Well, David is volunteering. Send him your number. Thank you for the years of information, Dr. Raj. I'm sorry, but I have to leave now. Have a blessed night. Well, you're welcome, Jennifer. You're welcome. So, Rihad Hussain and Indira Sundar Singh is listening also. Well, watching and listening. Well, if you're looking for a sugar daddy, I think you should send your application. Mark Daddy will make sure you send a photograph. Send a photograph, a contact number. Because some... what do you call a guy who's looking for... a sugar lady.
That's right.
How some guys out there will be doing that also?
How you mean? Yeah, it's vice versa.
Vice versa in this life. It's not a one-way street anymore, you know. Long ago, we used to stick with one thing and say, well, that is the way it is.
And a lot of that is happening,
Yes, of course.
Some people very much
but I'll tell you something. Don't ever think that anything that is happening new in sex is new. You know. It's not. It has happened already. in the cycle of life and in the cycle of the universe and cycle of the world, it has happened some way, sometime. So don't think that anything is new. What is legal today will be illegal tomorrow, and what is illegal today will be legal tomorrow.
Exactly.
And that's how the cycle goes.
And it's turning around in front of our very eyes these days.
Of course. It's happening very quickly. Very, very quickly. Some things, look, for example, there are some states in the United States that it's legal to get married to animals. Yeah. Who would have ever thought that? Who would have ever thought that? But again, we make a big hoorah about this under 18 and whatnot. And there are places in America that is advocating other countries do it, where you could get married to a 14-year-old. So you see the hypocrisy we face in life?
Yeah.
There's a lot of hypocrisy out there.
I know.
There is a lot of hypocrisy when it comes to your sexual being, human behavior, what is accepted and not accepted. Even the ones who are crying down certain things, for example, homosexuality, they may be secretly engaging in it. But because they want to create this image that I am not like that, they cry down against it. You see it in the dark ages, where persons will be engaging in certain things, but they'll be passing law against it and prosecuting individuals for it, even thieving or corruption, even stealing and corruption. They're engaging in it but passing laws against it. But that's the society we live in, this society of hypocrisy. That's why I tell people, when they ask me what I do, I tell them sex. You take it for however you want to take it for. I'm not going to change your opinion. And don't expect me to try to whittle it down so that it will become palatable to you. You take it for your meaning. I know what I am and who I am. And if you're comfortable with it, to hell was with you. You don't butter my bread.
That's right.
At the end of the day, when I go to sleep, I fall asleep. I sleep very comfortably because I know who I am and what I do. There are individuals who can't do that. They cannot fall asleep and they cannot sleep comfortably because they're a bunch of hypocrites. They know the hypocrisy within themselves. They know that they say one thing and do the other. And you see it in their everyday life. Their everyday life. They are the ones who advocate certain things, and they are the ones who do it openly or hidden. And I can tell you that, because in my realm, I see reality. And I see reality at the most base level. That some persons that will you shudder to even think that these things happen. But I see it. I hear it. My ears is on the ground. I know what's going on out there. Names will pop up and things will pop up. And you don't just take rumors, but the proof will pop up sometimes. And you're like, okay, if that's your preference, that's your preference. Who am I to judge? But we are a judgmental society also. We quick to judge. Take, for example, the young man who was brutally murdered in Orpun. When initially what was said, and he was attacked. There are persons who call radio station and whatnot, and they say they should dead and they should beat him more and they should do this. When the man was in a coma and he was dying or brain dead, they were offering sympathy. When in the first place, you should have condemned the act. You are not judge and jury. You don't know what transpired. Many a times, if you are eyewitness to something and I am an eyewitness to the very same thing and you are sitting there and I'm sitting here, we see two different things.
Exactly, yeah.
So how you could tell me that what you see is more true than what I see? How can you tell me that? Who is going to be able to say which is the greater truth? That's why lawyers are so successful when they cross-examine eyewitnesses. Because they know what you see and what I see will be two different things. Because you might be wearing our glasses, I may be short-sighted and not wearing our glasses, and I see something totally different.
Exactly, yeah.
So where eyewitness is not necessarily an eyewitness. And even when somebody come and tell you something, that's why rumors, I don't like rumors. Somebody will come and say, hey, my daddy's a drug dealer, You know what my question would be to him? You ever buy drugs from him? No. You ever sell him drugs? No. So you know he's a drug dealer. How do you know that? Well, I hear George say that. So George buy from him? George sell it? How do you know? What's the proof? Your proof is rumor. Your proof is whatever you feel to come out of your mouth. That's not proof. And we are a society that have to stop doing that. We point fingers blindly, not realizing there are 3 fingers pointed back at us. And we always do that. So stop doing it. Just stop. Let people live. Let people do. I mean, if you're breaking the law, you're breaking the law. If you're doing something wrong, you're doing something wrong. And if somebody is doing something that doesn't harm you in any way, leave them alone.
Exactly. I have a mantra that I live by: all man his own order. You know, I live by that.
Yeah.
If you think that's good for you,
By all means. Because I cannot make you happy. You will know what makes you happy. Exactly. That's why I say, I will tell you about the ills of drinking alcohol, you know. But I will never tell you stop. If that is what you want to do, go ahead. You know, many a times a client will sit in front of me in my office and say, you think I should stop smoking? I say, what do you think? What do you think after all what I've explained? Well, I think it would be in my best interest to stop. I say, well, if that's what you think, I think that's the best thing to do. And then I will show them how to be most effective. And if somebody say, well, I'll cut down, I say, well, if you think that's the best thing to do, know that whatever you're doing here, it's not going to work as well. But that's your choice. Your choice. We have free will. We are given free will, but we are given free will, but we don't use it wisely. We're not wise. We take this thing they call free will and we indulge in the hypocrisy of life. And we use it in a way that it should not be used. You have a free will to think. Nobody should be putting thoughts into your head. You have a free will to be educated. And based on, that's why I told the first caller, if based on education, that's what you think, I can't change that. The education is supposed to guide you, you know. That's what education is about. It's a guide. It's a guide. Nobody ever, if two of we read a manual how to build a table, and two of we set out to build a table with all the tools and all the wood and everything, we're going to get 2 different tables.
Exactly. Yeah.
2 different tables. Theory doesn't apply the same way to each individual. That's why I tell people, to be a sexologist, you can't study theory. You have to be practical at it. It is not a theoretical science. It is a practical science. That's why a lot of persons set off to be a sexologist and they fail. Because you cannot apply theory to every single individual in the same way. You cannot broad brush it. It's individualistic. And that's the advantage of being involved in the education of sex education and sex education and sexology. Sex education is not my term. Third base.
Oh.
He created that term. Yeah, sex education. Sex education. Sex education for you.
Yeah.
But the importance of that is understanding that I must take whatever information it have out there and apply it to myself. And if it applies where it fits, that's how you apply it. But what applies to me or what fits in my groove would not fit in your groove. It will not. And don't try to force your belief onto me.
I always say that.
Don't do that. I dislike when people do that.
Yeah, people, they love to do that.
Well, that's what I tell you, the hypocrisy of human beings, of our society. We believe that what we do must conquer all, and I must conquer you. That's why man and woman have so much fight. A man in the house believes that he should be man. He should be man at all times and beat the woman and bring them into submission, the children and everything else. As opposed to, hey, let's work as a team.
Exactly.
Let's work as a team. Mother do certain things, father do certain things, and we could cross. No problem. Because there are times the mother will have to take a father role. And there are times the father will have to take a mother role. And what's wrong with that? But when we put ourselves in a vacuum and we become myopic and we only see ourselves one way, that I am man, I beat my chest, and it's only supposed to be this way, you're going to go wrong. You are going to go wrong. Even business, I'm not only a sexologist, I'm a CEO of 5 different companies. And each